All right, let's jump right in. The source material we're looking at today has this incredible title, End of Days is Just the Beginning. Right off the bat, that kind of flips the script on what we usually think about this topic, doesn't it?
So let's start with that big question. What if the whole idea of the end of the world isn't really the end at all? What if it's actually about a brand new beginning? Well, to really get our heads around this, we first have to talk about how we even think about time itself.
You see, this slide lays out two totally different ways of seeing the world. On one side, you've got this ancient pagan view, where time is like a big wheel, just going around and around forever with no real point to it all. But the biblical worldview completely shattered that idea. It said, no, time isn't a circle, it's a line, it's a story. And you know, every good story has a beginning, a middle, and an end.
So, let's go all the way back to chapter 1 of this story, the perfect beginning. This story kicks off in this state of absolute perfection, a kind of perfect status quo where everything was in harmony. And this place, this original paradise, was where humanity lived, right there in God's presence. And they even had access to eternal life.
Now, this place had a name, Gan Eden, and that literally means Garden of Delight. But it's way more than just some pretty garden. Think of it as an archetype, a blueprint for this perfect, blessed, immortal world where heaven and earth were basically one and the same.
But, like any good story, that perfect beginning gets disrupted. Conflict shows up, and with it comes the villain.
And this is the line. This is the moment that changes absolutely everything. The serpent slides into the story, not with some big show of force, but with a whisper, a temptation. You will be like God. And bam, that's it. That's the moment the story's perfect harmony is fractured.
Now, it's really interesting how the source material defines this villain. He's not just some guy with a pitchfork ruling over a fiery underworld. No, he's called the god of this world. His role is more like a prosecuting attorney in the heavenly court, the great accuser who's been given temporary influence over our current age.
And the fallout from this one act? It was catastrophic. Humanity didn't just get kicked out of a garden. They lost eternal life. They lost that moral likeness of God. They were stripped of what some ancient writers called their garments of light. They were exiled. The story's main conflict was officially on.
But here's the thing. If history really is a story, then it's not just random chaos. The story itself has clues baked into it, like a roadmap, pointing us toward how the final chapter is all going to play out.
So this is a super important concept, this idea of two distinct ages. Right now, we are living in the middle of the story. It's called the Olam Hazeh, this current age. It's defined by all the brokenness and conflict that started back in the garden. But the whole story is heading somewhere. It's heading towards the Olam Haba, the age to come. And that is the story's promised happy ending.
And get this, the source explains this timeline with this really powerful analogy from the creation story. The idea is that all of human history is meant to last for 6 days, each day being 1,000 years. That's this current age. And the 7th day, a 1,000-year Sabbath of rest, well, that's the Messianic Era, the age to come.
And the clues just keep getting more and more specific. The biblical holy days, the Mo'adim, they aren't just holidays or cultural parties. In this view, they are appointed times. Think of them like divine dress rehearsals for huge, pivotal events in God's story. Every single one is a preview of something big to come. Which brings us to a word we all think we know, apocalypse. Okay, I want you to forget the fire and brimstone and asteroids for just a second. The word itself literally means an unveiling or a revelation. An apocalypse is really just pulling back the curtain to show you the hidden spiritual drama that's happening behind the scenes of history.
Yeah, this image of the curtain being pulled back, it's perfect, right? It shows you exactly what the point is. An apocalypse isn't about predicting the future like a crystal ball. It's about understanding the why. It's about revealing the bigger story that's been playing out all along.
All right, so now we're at the final act. This is where all those clues and plot points start to come together. And we're going to see exactly how the end is really just a new beginning.
This is it. This is the main point. The climax of this entire story isn't about destruction. It's about restoration. It's about fixing the problem that started way back in Chapter 2 and bringing everything back to the perfection of Chapter 1, but even better this time.
The great Jewish philosopher Maimonides gave us this absolutely beautiful picture of what the age to come is supposed to look like. It's not about floating on clouds. It's a real, renewed earth that's filled with total peace, prosperity, and where everyone just gets it.
So, in the grand finale, every single plot point gets resolved. The villain defeated. Humanity redeemed from that long exile. The nation of Israel restored. And Gan Eden, that perfect garden, it doesn't just reappear, it comes back to Earth, but this time it's even better, it's immortal.
And that leaves us with this one final, really powerful thought. From this perspective, history isn't just random stuff happening. It has a plot. It has characters. It has a central conflict and a guaranteed resolution. It's a story with a deep purpose, and it's all flowing towards its grand finale, which, as we've seen, isn't really an end at all. It's the beginning of the real story.